What's up, everybody? This is Phil Rogacki.
And I'm Jared Abergina.
You're listening to Two Tree Guys Podcast. What's up, world? Hey, Phil Rogacki here. Another episode of 2TG. Thank you for tuning in today. If you guys never listen to the show, you know, myself and my buddy Jared Abergina and my man Bob. Whoop, whoop. He's not listening right now, but Bob, we put together the show for you guys. Developing, building it, all the way from artwork to logos, and the purpose of this show was to give you guys something, to give you information, to give you training, to just give you something that's entertaining, because there was no entertaining podcast out there for people to learn it. And it used to be called Two Tree Guys and a Bucket of Beer, and we drink beer, but the logo was too long. The name was too long, so we switched it up to Two Tree Guys. But I appreciate all the fans and all the people that support this every single day. And for all you guys know the fee when you're listening to this, and that fee is share it. If you liked it, if you loved it, if you got something out of it, you got to share it. That's the fee of the show. And if you don't share it, you're a jerk. So share it. Don't just take, give. That's the purpose of it. But we got a lot of different shows that we put on. We got our safety talks. We got our gear talks, training talks, our full-length episode, and what we're going to be hearing today from Juan Contreras from Wright Tree Service is his story, because everybody has a unique story. How they got in the industry, life, being on drugs, to moving around the world, to I want to be a fireman. And how did this path bring you here today on the Two Tree Guy podcast, which is probably the highlight of everybody's life is when they're on here. I know Juan's super excited to be on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Juan, welcome.
Thank you very
You've
much.
been thinking of it all day, all night. Oh, man, I know you're super pumped on you. But thanks for being on the show, man. But like I said, everybody has a story, and it's really cool to have this opportunity like myself to talk to so many awesome individuals,
sure.
so many awesome companies that are out there, and hear your story and where you're at and what you're doing and what's the future hold for you. So this is your time, your spotlight, and what you get to share to the entire world.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I listen to you guys a whole lot, so I guess I'm a little bit of a fanboy.
Yeah, fanboy. I like it. Have you been paying the fee?
Oh, yeah.
Have you been tagging us in it? Because I don't see any shares on
okay.
Instagram.
Okay. I was putting in my story. That's not permanent. I guess I need to make it permanent.
Well, maybe I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Send it,
Okay.
post it.
All right.
For that. What's your favorite episode?
Well, I like the gear talks.
Okay.
Because I do buy a lot of gear. I do have a little addiction on that portion. My wife doesn't like it that much, but you just gotta do it.
That's all right.
Yeah,
That's all right.
So those are really entertaining, just to
good.
learn more and different perspectives.
Yeah.
Manufacturers, sponsors, whoever is on your show, they have something to offer, and that's pretty great.
They do, and it's unique,
Yeah.
And we did a lot of gear talks, over the last few days that we're going to be bringing. And one of the most interesting ones that we just had was about battery chainsaws. It was really good. I enjoyed that podcast of just being on it. But you guys are going to hear it. It's going to come out about battery saws and which ones are the best out of the 5 that are out there on the market. And I think you guys be pretty blown away when you hear who's number one.
I'm going to listen to it. I actually saw the episode, but I haven't listened to it yet. And a lot of people in the division that I work, they have been talking about this for about 2 weeks. They were talking about just battery saws and all that. Some skeptic people. So I'm gonna share the episode with them and talk about it.
Good, man. Good. So let's talk about your life.
Yeah, all right.
Let's hear it.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
And if you cry or laugh, it's okay. Everybody cries and laughs on the show a little bit.
It's a good spot to
cry,
right?
This is a safe spot.
Oh yeah.
Juan.
Oh yeah.
Right?
All right. So I guess I need to start where I come from. I'm from Chile, so we gotta go back all the way to Patagonia, end of the world. All right. So there's just a few cities that they claim to be the end of the world. My city is one of them. There's only 1 or 2 more south, but they're islands. My city is in the actual continent. So if you drive through my city and you want to go a little south, you get to a sign that says end of the road, and then you see the sea, and that's it.
End of the road.
Yeah.
I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
That's it.
So we call it the end of the world because it is the end of the world. So I was born and raised there, learning Spanish. A very different environment. Trees are different. Everything is very different. mountains, glaciers, penguins, whales.
Good
uh,
wine.
Good one. In Chile, there is wood wine. Not in my area, but it's one of the things from Chile. It's so long, so freaking long
Yeah.
that you can get a lot of environments, a lot of temperatures,
Yeah.
lot of different cultures. On the north, right, we are neighbors to Peru.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What's your city you're from?
Punta Arenas. That's the name.
Punta Arenas.
Yeah. So I was born and raised there. I went to a German school. There's a lot of German schools in Chile.
Why is that?
Oh, you got to think about World War II. People escaping
everybody
from
leaving.
Europe and all that. Before
Okay.
war, after the war. So we get a lot of European influence there.
And Chile's, when I think of Chile, I'm trying to think of any big world events or in the news, and I don't really hear much about Chile out there. I mean, do you guys have wars? Do you guys have?
We're pretty quiet.
I mean, you're quiet. Well, so what does Chile have, or I mean, what are they known for? Or?
We have been awarded many times the
Quietest country in the world.
Yeah, pretty much. Adventure tourism. So
Adventure
people go there, but not necessarily for beaches or anything like that. They go to have an adventure. So you can either go to the driest desert in the world up north, or you can go to the south, the Patagonia. There's even a brand with that name, right?
Yeah.
It's very famous. There's Chilean Patagonia and Argentinian. So I'm on the Chilean side. All of that is just beautiful. There's so many different things
Is it
to
safe
see.
there?
It is
Safe
very
there?
safe, very safe.
Okay.
And it's one of the most pristine places in the world. Very untouched.
So could I go to Peru and just drive to Chile and drive through Chile and be great? Fine.
Yes, but they're in the middle. You're gonna find some rough spots, maybe.
Yeah.
But
that's the adventure, right?
Yeah, that's the adventure. If you were to put Chile in our North American side, it would start like in Canada and finish in Mexico. It's very long.
Yeah.
So you're gonna find a lot of things on the road, climates, topography. Everything's just gonna change. The people, the culture.
How's the food?
The food's good. I gotta admit that if your wife is Peruvian,
That's
they have better food. I have to admit that.
Man, I'm going to Peru in December,
Yeah.
and I went to Peru a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. I could not believe how good the food is. I just went to Miami.
Yeah.
And all we ate was Peruvian food because we loved it so much. And if you go to Miami, the Peruvian food there is amazing. Way better than California's Peruvian food, but it was awesome. So I
Okay.
agree with you there.
If you ever want to try something Chilean, try a Chilean empanada. Okay, there's a lot of countries that have empanadas, but the Chilean empanada, it's famous. It's really good.
They sell it on the street corners and stuff or anywhere.
In Chile, yes.
Yeah.
In the U.S., it's hard to find.
Yeah.
Chile is really long, and we only have between 18 and 20 million people. That's not a lot.
Yeah. Do you come to California a lot?
I have been there once or twice for work.
Okay. Do you look for every time you go to a new place? Do you look for Chilean food?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't have high hopes because
No,
it's really hard
no
to
high
find.
hopes.
Yeah.
I don't even try.
I do travel a lot for work, but yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I guess let's go back to that. So, born and raised in Chile, right? Going to a German school, so I'm learning English, German, and Spanish, obviously, right? Three languages. I'm a little active at school, so I'm not very good at paying attention.
Mhm.
I guess that's when things start ticking for me. That education is kind of hard. I can excel at that, but it's just not my thing at the moment. Like I know I can pay a little bit of attention and then perform well, but since I was my early childhood education, the teachers were like, he talks a lot. He's very distracting. He likes to crack some jokes during class.
Yeah.
He's very distracted. It's like, I guess
Parents
that's
teacher conferences, they're always like, I don't know if your kid's gonna make it.
yeah, he's a nice kid.
He's a
but-
nice kid. That's how they always started a conversation. He's a nice kid, really polite.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
he sucks at school. I think most tree guys suck
Oh
at
yeah.
school.
Oh, it
right?
happens a whole lot.
So you knew you were going in tree
Oh,
work just
yeah,
because you were
yeah.
terrible at school. Gotcha.
Oh, on 8th grade, I just saw my mom cry about it, and that's when it clicked
Oh,
for me.
You broke her
Gotta
heart.
pay attention. Yeah.
You broke her heart.
And then
Oh, what
I
a
started
jerk.
excelling.
Oh, good.
started doing
Okay.
well.
You didn't want to see your mom hurt.
In most things that I like, not in everything, but yeah. But I started being really good at some things.
Okay.
Languages was one of them.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and I know that I'm a kind of a traveler. I don't like staying in the same place. I always told my friends, if I'm gonna stay in Chile, I'm staying here in my hometown. If I ever leave, I'm leaving the country. So I was like, I was a little extremist, I guess.
Yeah. We're going to stay here on these 6 blocks, or I'm going to go live in Antarctica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Antarctica. That's funny. People say that if you take a plane from my city to Antarctica, it's about 3 hours. I have not done it, but that's how close it is.
It'd be interesting to go to Antarctica.
Yeah. Very
Shit.
interesting.
Yeah. So how old were you when you left? When you decided
When I
to
left,
leave?
I think I was about 24 or something. I already had received my bachelor's degree. I didn't know what to do with my life. My dad was like, what? How about being a safety professional or something? I was like, I don't really know what that is. But I just went for it because I was still kind of obedient to my parents. It's like,
Yeah,
sounds like a good advice.
because you were living still at home.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
was living at home.
everybody in South America lives at home until they get married.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, everybody.
Yeah, so I went to school. I got my engineering degree in safety, health, and environment. Really loved it. I was like, I can be good at this. I was just going like spreadsheets, evaluating job sites, and all of that. But it's just very general. There's no one industry yet, right?
Yeah.
So then I moved to the States with a different plan. I started thinking about.
Why'd you move to the States?
I just wanted to further education. I wanted a master's degree. I
So
was
you
like,
decided to come to the States, or were you chasing a girl?
both.
There it is.
Not at the same time.
Not at the same time. Okay. Because normally people are like, "Oh, I moved here. This is for education." And I'm like, "Girl?" They're like, "Well, yeah, that was the reason why."
Just not at
That's
the same
how I
time.
thought.
Okay.
Okay.
So first is the education.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha.
So I go to my brother's house in
Mhm.
Iowa. People always are like, "Why Iowa?" Well, my brother was there. Okay.
Yeah. Why Iowa?
Yeah, you live in Patagonia, like mountaineering, rock climbing, like beautiful
Iowa,
nature. Iowa,
corn, flat,
flat.
nothing around.
Yeah,
Vermeer factories there. RDO. Yeah.
yeah. So, anyways, I moved with him, and I go to college to just take an English test because I was like, well, first I gotta level my English and see if I can take classes. That was my first plan, and then started the master's degree in Utah. So I take the test, and they're like, you're ready for classes. I'm like, oh, I did not expect that.
You mean
I passed
you
the
have
test.
to take an
Yeah.
English test
Yeah.
to be able to get into the college?
Yeah.
Oh,
So I passed the test, and it was fine. They were like, you're ready. I was like, well, crap. I'm in Iowa already. I'm not planning to move until 6 more months or something.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll just give it a try here in the community college, take a few courses that are cheaper, maybe pre-courses. So I started doing that, and that's when I met the girl.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, good.
But anyways, yeah, we got married and all that, and I'm still not able to work full-time in the U.S. because I am on a student visa. So I get
How
married.
long ago was this? When were you in Iowa?
I've been in the States and in Iowa for about 7 years.
Okay. How long you been married?
About five years.
Okay.
So I get married.
But she's American.
Yeah, she's
She's
American.
from Iowa.
She's from Iowa.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, pure
Gotcha.
Iowa.
And why aren't you a citizen yet?
I am a citizen now.
You're a citizen. Okay, now
Right
you're
now.
a citizen.
At
Okay.
that time, I was on a student F1 visa,
Okay.
and I could not work. I could only work on campus for 20 hours.
Okay.
Tough.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Low wages and minimum hours. Otherwise, it's
Luckily,
illegal.
you're in Iowa, right? I mean, rent, food, probably everything's a lot cheaper. If you were in
It is.
California,
It is.
you
Oh,
weren't
yeah.
gonna survive.
Oh yeah, no. So I get married, and it takes a while for either get a work permit. You must know about
Yep.
it, but it takes a whole while. So when I first get my work permit, I'm like, yes, let's get a job. So at that time, I had changed my mind on the master's degree because I got married, and then my views of some things started changing, and I was like, I want to be an accountant now.
What?
Yeah, I know. So I started going through.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know. It just seems like business and accounting would make me make some money and live a good life.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
just looking at that at the moment.
Yeah.
So, and I'm good at accounting.
Yeah.
I started doing well in school. So I was like, I'm good at this. And I kind of like it. I
I
just
have
go
a
through
feel-
numbers.
I have a
and-
feeling you're good at anything you set your mind to. That's what I'm gathering
Thank
right
you.
now. You're like, I know 18 languages.
Yeah. I know 4, yeah.
safety, yeah.
Portuguese is the one that I didn't tell you. Yeah.
Oh,
I lived in Brazil
okay.
for a year. So
Okay.
I'm a little bit of a traveler. to
Yeah,
you,
I
right?
see that.
Yeah. So, so I decided to do that accounting degree. Right. I'm about to get my 2 years into accounting, and they're like, "Do you want an internship?" I'm like, "Sure." So I go to a recruiter. They introduce me to a few companies, and I have like insurance, this thing called Wright Tree Service, whatever that is, right at the moment. And then I go to my interview to Wright Tree
Wait,
Service.
Wright Tree Service was part of the internship.
Yeah, I was gonna work for corporate, and I was gonna
'Cause
do
they're
payroll.
They're in Iowa.
They're in Iowa. That's the headquarters. And they're like, "Oh, you're good at
interesting.
numbers. Why don't you do numbers with us?" And I do my research before I apply to something, right? So I can know a little bit about them before I go.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay. These guys cut trees. I don't know a whole lot about that. I did that in my parents' farm, just not safe stuff, just crazy
Yeah.
stuff, like
Cutting
everybody.
trees,
Yeah, right?
How every tree guy pretty much starts.
Yeah. So I go into the interview and they like me, they hire me, and I'm working payroll at the moment, and I'm good at it and blah blah blah. But at some point, I see a sign inside corporate that says safety, risk, and all that.
And you're like,
I was like, I already have a degree on that. I was like, wouldn't it be smart to just switch? Because I kind of like that. So I started making connections there in corporate.
yeah.
And I'm introduced to my first mentor there. His name is Rocky Palmer.
Mhm.
But I guess I'm weird enough that one day when they sent an ad for a safety supervisor, the president of the company of Wright Tree sent this email, and I respond to him. It's like, I'm interested in that. At the moment, I did
So
not
the president sent out to the industry?
Yeah,
Not
to the company.
To the company.
And
Hey, we're looking for this.
Yeah, I'm like, I know this. I know safety. Yeah,
And did anybody even know you had a background in safety?
they did. They
Okay.
did. But it was crazy. Will Nutter, he's well known in the
Yeah.
industry too. He's super nice. He invited me to his office.
Mhm.
And I was like, you want to do safety here? And he actually is an arborist, so he knows our trees.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like, I know safety.
I know it. I'm in.
Yeah. And I don't know, he gets a gut feeling or something. He connects me with this guy, Rocky Palmer. So you guys should talk.
Mhm.
And to those two guys, I guess I owe a whole lot.
Good.
I do owe
Good.
a
Will
lot.
Nutter and Rocky Palmer.
Yeah.
So they hire you for this position, right?
Yeah, they hire me for that. They give me a few projects to test me, right? And
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, come to my department. I go to his department, and then I need to learn OSHA and everything in the U.S. regulation-wise, right?
Mhm.
Which is different, a little bit different to what I know. But then the other portion, trees. And that part, I don't know that much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a guy that likes to learn and likes to do things. So
yeah.
I'm trying to learn, and I become an obsession. Books, reading all the books that I can. Learn how do you climb? How do you do this? I just start reading.
What kind of books? Which books?
The Tree Climber Companion.
Yeah.
Classic.
Classic. That's where you start.
And pretty much every book that the GFs were given at the moment, our safety manual, all of that, because I don't know any tree guys.
Yeah.
And Rocky, he was a
You have
great
no-
guy, but
you have
he-
no friends, no tree friends.
no tree friends.
No man.
No tree
okay.
friends. so yeah, I started learning this, and at some point they asked, "Do you want to climb a tree?" I would love to,
Uh-huh.
and that's when I got hooked in.
You got hooked. And that's when your wife started being mad at you every single day.
They put me on a tree. First time I climb, I actually climbed on SRS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Started going up, and they're like, "You should stop!" Like,
Yeah. I don't want to have to get up there
It's
and
like,
rescue your
yeah,
ass.
yeah, but
Please
it's
come
like-
down.
but it's so cool. I want to keep going, right?
Uh-huh.
So that's when things start changing in my brain.
And when was this? What year was this?
I gotta say, let's say 4 years ago
4
or
years
something.
ago, okay.
4 years or so.
Gotcha.
I climbed my first tree, I think. I just go back to work, and when we're reviewing procedures or things that could learn our field personnel, there's other arborists involved in the meetings. They know about trees, and I realized how little I know. And they started doing jokes.
Wait, what were they doing about?
So we were going over procedures in
Uh-huh.
our safety manual.
Yeah.
Let's say chipping,
Yeah.
climbing, whatever. They bring actual tree guys to the conversation because they have the knowledge, and we can advise on some stuff, right?
Mhm.
Because and I started realizing they talk about a whole lingo that I'm not understanding. They're like,
that wasn't in the books.
that wasn't in the books. They
so
laugh about this stuff, and I'm like,
You're like, I'm not getting it.
yeah. So
Well, do you have an example of one?
uh,
What would they say?
not at the moment, but just any tree lingo like taglines or
Yeah.
closed systems. Oh yeah, on a closed system, this and that. Like,
Ah,
yeah,
idiot.
yeah, closed system. Okay,
Yeah, closed system. Okay, I gotta look that up.
Noted.
Noted. Smart.
So those type of things, So then, aside from books, I start researching YouTube, whatever it's available, certifications, and I just get to the point that, you know what, I have learned a lot from books. I'm not gonna learn anything until I go to the field,
Mm-hmm.
put my boots on, and I go. I did a few sketchy stuff before I get there on my own time,
So did you step down from the safety side and just I want to go work with the crews?
Similar. So I was actually offered an option to move to the safety department instead of risk. That's
Yeah.
what I was doing. I
Oh,
was
you
doing
were in
risk
the risk.
management.
Gotcha.
Risk management. a lot of compliance, writing procedures, NC compliance,
Yeah.
all of that. So I knew NC back and forth. I had read it so many times,
Mm-hmm.
but never really done it much.
Yeah.
So I tried to do some things on my own. I had to admit outside of work
Mhm.
to understand it because I really wanted to understand it.
And you need some of those failures and
Yes,
mistakes to
yes.
learn.
I
from.
would be at home rocking my twins, at home at
You got
night.
twins?
Yeah.
No, I got twin sisters.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm rocking my twins. They don't let you sleep at night, right? You
Yeah.
don't sleep anything. That's when I got addicted to energy drinks, but that's another story.
I was wondering why you're talking so fast. You're like, tweaking. No, I'm just
So I'm just watching everything in YouTube while I rock them, right? I'm trying to learn TCI, whatever it is, whatever instructor says they have an accreditation or something, or even guys that don't have accreditation,
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
So I can learn both things. And then I would have a piece of rope at home. And when people come to my house or whatever, they're talking to me, I have a rope on my hands, just practicing knots. Because I don't get that experience yet.
Yeah.
So then when I got offered the option to jump to the field, being a safety supervisor, and being able to talk to these people and work with these people, I was a little scared
Yeah.
because I thought that every tree guy knew a whole lot of stuff. So much to my surprise, when I got there and started talking about clove hitches, alpine butterflies, people did not know what I was talking about.
And I bet you were probably surprised how more advanced you were in some of the knowledge.
In some of the
than they
things,
were.
right?
They had maybe the experience,
Yes.
and you had the book smart
Uh-huh.
on there. They're the guys that've been up in the field
Yeah.
for 15 years,
Oh,
doing
yeah.
it the same way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's when things start connecting, right? And I
So
always tell
much.
them, you teach me something today, I'll teach you something.
In our industry, with the academy, it's the same thing. We would put someone through, 40 hours of training before they went out in the field.
Uh-huh.
Went through everything from knots, tree identification, climbing, chipper safety, EHAP, everything. We would
Yeah.
put them through. And then when they went out in the field, they would work with the crews and guys that are like, I will slay every tree you see in the most craziest scenarios ever. And these individuals would come out.
Yeah.
They knew more than they did
Yeah.
just from 40 hours of education, but they didn't have the practical,
Right,
but
right.
the education. And what started happening is the people that have been in the field a long time started learning from them. And at the
Mhm.
same time, like you said, coming together, and they were both teaching each other. Someone is new 1 week in, and somebody that's, 7 years in, we're teaching each other
For
some
sure.
stuff.
Yeah. So one of the big things that I was able to do and that I'm currently doing in the field is making the connection between the English and the Spanish world. Like
Mhm.
events like we are today, TCI Expo, there's no classes in Spanish. So there's a big filter that happens there to our peers that only speak Spanish. And that's only going to be increasing in the U.S.
Yeah.
So those are one of my key guys. I go to them, and some of them, they don't even know any name of the knots because of the same thing. The trainers or everybody that talks to them, they speak in English, and they have a name for the knot or whatever, clove hitch. If I tell you clove hitch and you don't understand English, you're gonna
Yeah.
forget it, even if you
Exactly.
try. So then you enter a whole different world. I have made up names and all that, which also happens in English, but it
Yeah.
happens even more in Spanish just because of that barrier.
Yeah, they do. They do. So where are you at right now within Wright?
At Wright Tree, I'm a safety supervisor and trainer.
Safety
Yeah.
supervisor in training.
Yeah.
So you're doing a lot of training courses
I
and
do, yeah.
classes.
I do
You're
that.
traveling around the country.
Yeah, I have an area assigned, but I do travel a whole lot, especially because of the
You
Spanish.
still in Iowa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Her whole family's in Iowa and stuff.
yeah,
What
yeah.
part of Iowa?
Des Moines area.
Des Moines, which is good because your corporate office, you
Yeah.
know, and Wright's second largest tree care company,
Yeah.
utility company, right?
Yeah, utility company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being Wright in the utility space, you guys do residential too.
Yeah, Right Outdoor Solutions is our residential company.
Right Outdoor
Outdoor
Solutions.
Solutions, yes.
Okay. Are you working with that side too?
I have worked with them before, actually, when I was doing risk management. They had me there as an advisor to their risk and safety program, and I love that. And those were also introductions to me
Yeah.
to the field, and those guys also made me realize that's where I want to be.
Really?
I want to leave
Good.
the office.
Good.
I love the office, but at the same time, I knew that it was
Sometimes no work, nothing
Yeah.
gets done in the office.
yeah, it's
You got to
hard.
get out in the field.
Oh yeah,
So let me ask you a question on the gear side and equipment wise with Wright. Do they provide everything for them? Do they have specific gear that they have to use, or are individuals allowed to kind of pick and choose different climbing systems they want to climb on?
Just like everything in life, it kind of depends on the area and the work that you do. You can do, I don't know, hazard trees or regular trimming. Some people do a lot of tree felling. It's just going to depend on what you do. I guess I have some guys in Kansas that are really well equipped because they do hazard trees every day.
Gotcha.
Lots of removable big trees.
Gotcha.
If you're just going to do regular trimming, I mean, your back's not going to be as full, right?
Yeah.
So it's just going to depend. We do have approved products and approved gear, and we have our reasons why we have those, and that's also a team effort. There's no one person approving those. There's a team for that.
Gotcha.
And I love that because the feedback has to come from everybody.
Now, are you going to stay in Iowa forever?
Maybe.
Have you talked to your wife about that?
We do talk about
Because
it
you
sometimes.
love to travel.
I
mean,
do.
you're still traveling some.
I do, but
what's on your horizon? I mean, what's like your heart pulling you to like, I want to go do this? Like, you're a big dreamer. I see it.
I
So
am, yeah.
what's the dream in your head, Juan?
on moving wise, I'm not sure yet. This is the reason why at the moment I have 3 little kids. Iowa is perfect to raise families. As you were saying, it's affordable, it's safe, it's just a good state for
It's
that.
good. Yeah.
If you want to party, you go somewhere else. But if you want to have a family and raise them for good schools and all that, it's Iowa. Iowa's a dream at that moment.
Yeah. So, but what about your dream in your career?
In my career, where I want to go, I want to keep going higher, obviously. As you can
What
notice,
do you
I'm
mean
a
on
dreamer.
higher in the sense of your position within a company?
Everything. So since what I'm doing right now is breaking or making bridges through people, either through corporate office and field or Spanish and English. And I love doing that. I love having that influence. And sometimes that influence comes with higher ranks or whatever you want to say, or a different position sometimes. So yes, I want to keep evolving my career, but one of my biggest dreams since the tree climbing thing clicked on my head is the industry. Change the industry, be that person that is there for them, and that's what I try to do every time I go to a site. I like to be inspiring, or I hope that I am. I try to leave that message, and the crews are the ones that are going to tell me that, and it seems like it's always positive. And a lot of guys that tell me, especially the guys that speak, I have an area that speaks 90% Spanish. So just a month ago, no, 3 weeks ago, they said, we love you because you climb with us.
You're one of them.
And that's when I can teach.
Connect with them.
If I just show you things on the ground and I tell you to imagine everything, it's hard and you don't have as much credibility. But if I go up with you and I show you what I'm talking about, I may have more credibility.
I love it. And Juan, let me tell you, you're going to do some awesome things in this industry. Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people. I've been in this industry a long time, and I can tell right the things you're saying and your demeanor and the energy you're taking off. You're gonna do some awesome things in this industry, man.
Thank you.
Don't let one company, one person hold you back in any way. You can do some awesome things with the right people, the right companies. You got a lot more to learn out there in the industry, but you can rise up fast, man. You can on that.
Thank you. If you don't mind, if I make one more comment.
Yeah.
When I was doing risk management, I thought I had some power over things that were happening because I had power in the book. I could type things on the book, and the rule was changed because I typed it. I had reviewers and all that, advisors and other feedback. But if I would type something on a draft, rough draft or whatever, I thought I was doing an impact. But who's gonna read it? And those were other triggers that I had that told me you need to talk to these people personally, one-on-one, one by one.
Just because it's on a piece of paper doesn't mean someone's going to read it or follow it.
Oh, yeah.
And they got to understand the why behind it. A lot of time there's rules, but why is that a
Exactly.
rule? You got to understand the why. And there's a book, I don't know if you ever read it. It's called Start With Why.
Yes.
Read it? Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I have not read it. I know it. I'm sorry.
Okay. Read the book. It's a great book. And it really will change your perspective. But when you're speaking to these people, they got to understand the why first before anything from that.
I've seen the speeches from Simon when he talks about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So you understand it.
Yeah.
Well, is there any tips or any wisdom that you can share with anybody in the industry right now?
My workers ask me that a whole lot. They ask me, how do I become a trainer like you, or how do I do this or that? And I think for everybody, it's kind of similar. Never stop learning. If you think you know this, you're screwed. Be humble. Try to learn from everybody, even if they're not in your industry. There's a whole lot that we can learn from everybody, even if they're not talking about tree work. We can learn a whole lot from people. People are people, and when you speak to their heart, that's when you're gonna make a change. Sometimes, or many times, when you speak to people, you can be providing even a safety message, whatever it is. But if you are able to talk to that person, look at them in the eye, and speak to their heart, they're gonna remember that. You're gonna be impactful, and you can become a mentor to them.
That's good. That's good. Guys, you've heard it. You heard it right here from Juan. Appreciate you being on the show, man, and sharing your story. You got a lot more to share. You got a lot more to share, especially on the safety talk. That's what I'm glad I heard your story, but the next talks, I definitely want to do some safety talks and break down OSHA and ANSI and the, writing protocols and processes and putting all that away. Talking about accounting, I don't know. We got a lot for you to teach out there. Maybe I'll get someone else on. They could do a Spanish podcast, so you can share that too.
Yeah,
would be great. But guys, hey, you heard it from Juan from Wright Tree Service. You can follow him at Juan BCT on Instagram. That's Juan JUANBCT on Instagram. And we appreciate you guys. You know the fee. That's to share it, post it, tag us in it. Tag Juan in it if you got something out of this today. And as always, I leave you guys with just to remember, continue to elevate the standard of our industry through safety, training, and innovation. See you guys. Bye.
Thank you.